We're going to go through some very gray areas that can actually make consent a little confusing. And
we're going to share what consent isn't and some sexy ways to ask for consent.
That's what I'm talking about. Because sometimes you're like, I want this, but how do I ask for it? Or I want to do this for my partner, but how do I ask them if it's cool?
Exactly.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, I'm MJ.
And I'm Bree.
Welcome to Keeping It Casual,
A sex-positive dating and relationship advice podcast.
Yes, I'm married with 2 kids.
And I'm navigating this crazy dating world.
We're just here to share our drama.
And the wild stories of our listeners.
Your Vegas girls are here for you.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Well, good evening, everybody.
Hello.
It's me, MJ.
And it's me, Bree.
Singing it on in.
We are doing an episode that honestly has been requested a lot.
Well, I think it's time because we've actually, we get a lot of feedback, and we were just like, where do we put some of these things?
Yeah.
Some of these are just like general questions, some really interesting points that we needed to touch on.
Yes, a lot of things have come up recently about how there is a fine line when it comes to consent. But consent really is as simple as a cup of tea. MJ and I watched this video this week comparing consent to tea, and we'll link it in the show notes.
Yeah, because it's hilarious. It's basically like if you ask somebody if they want tea, and it's like, sure, I'll have some tea, then give them tea. If they're like, I don't really know.
You don't force them tea.
Don't force them tea. If they're sleeping or passed out drunk, don't force tea down their mouth.
And it sounds ridiculous when you talk about it with tea, but same with sex.
Just made it very basic, but we're going to go through some very gray areas that can actually make consent a little confusing. And
we're going to share what consent isn't and some sexy ways to ask for consent.
That's what I'm talking about, because sometimes you're like, I want this, but how do I ask for it? Or I want to do this for my partner, but how do I ask them if it's cool?
Exactly. But before that,
let's get into our sponsors.
Shout out to Like a Kitten.
Yes, women owned and operated.
Yes, they are here to mainstream masturbation for you.
They have some really special things that they're about to kick off, and we're so excited to partner with them. They're getting in on our monthly giveaways, so make sure you rate and review on Apple Podcasts, and you could get a sweet hookup.
And not only that, it hooks us up too.
I know.
It helps drive us up the charts.
That's right. And, mainstreaming masturbation and supplying you with sexy subscription boxes or even one-off boxes. That's what they do. They have a lot of fun stuff in there, and you can get 20% off too.
Go to likeakitten.com, use code KEEPERS20 at checkout, but we'll talk about that a little bit more later.
You can hear what they got in their summer box.
Hell yeah.
Let's kick this off with a tough gray area about consent.
Revoking consent.
Oh yeah, consent can be revoked at any time.
Even mid-stroke.
Mid-foreplay.
After you've had sex once.
2 days after sex occurs.
Do not let anybody tell you cannot revoke consent, because you fucking can. I don't care if he has the condom on dick inside you and you're like, nah, never mind.
Yeah, I'm over it. Like, I'm not into that right now.
Yeah.
So, what are some reasons that somebody might revoke consent?
You're not having fun. You're not enjoying it. Something in their body hurts. If you're feeling triggered by something. Or if you want to say no, but felt pressured to say yes for some reason, and now you've decided to speak up. Like, if, say somebody's like continually just being like, hey, let's sleep together, and then I'm finally like, I guess. That's not consent.
Somebody wears you down with
wears you down with asking, and you're finally just like so fed up with it. You're just like, I guess.
I know it happens. I don't understand the mentality of somebody just saying, no, I don't want you. Okay, I guess I'll throw you a bone. Like,
I don't understand wanting to have sex with somebody who doesn't want to have sex with you.
I know. It's like, what's going on with that?
Put it in your spank bank. Masturbate to it. You're not getting that whatever.
That's what a lot of us do. I mean, that's what you're kind of left with to do. I actually had a friend talk about feeling triggered during sex and actually kind of stopped. And she was just like, I don't even know what it was or where it came from, but I just got a really uncomfortable, shameful feeling. And I stopped, and my partner was very like, what's going on? I don't understand. And she's like, I didn't even understand. So if you happen to find yourself in a situation where somebody does stop mid-sex because things are just changing in their head, or they just are feeling uncomfortable, it might not always be about you.
It probably isn't about you.
That's what I learned from that. I mean, it could be, but there are so many things, and it just give that person space. No judgment right away. Don't internalize it right away, and give them a moment to talk about it. So I know things like that happen, and
I have some stories I'll tell along the way. But when it comes to consent, no means no. But what else means no?
Yeah, there are little things you can say like, I'm not sure.
Let's just chill.
Yeah, I've changed my mind.
yeah, I'm not comfortable with this. Which I actually have it. I'm not comfortable with this story.
All right.
With an ex, you don't need to know what ex. We were having a conversation and I said, I don't want to have anal sex. Not on the table. Not on the table for me. And it still really isn't on the table for me because this will trigger me now. And he was like, yeah, that's fine. We're fooling around 10 minutes later, and he went for it anyway.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I asked him about it probably a year later. Because when he went for it, I remember just being like, please stop, you're hurting me. Please stop. I said it multiple times. Please stop, you're hurting me, until I finally yelled it, and then he stopped, and then he was like, oh my God, that was an accident. I remember telling a guy friend about it probably close to a year later. I was talking to a guy friend about it, and I was like, but he said it was an accident. And that friend said, yeah, that shit wasn't an accident. And then he goes, was he drunk? Were you guys super drunk? I said, no, neither of us were drinking that night. And he said, that wasn't an accident. And I was like, what? I wanted to believe this guy. Like, yeah, sure, maybe you accidentally put it in the wrong hole and had sex with it.
There's been little slips where you almost get poked, and you're like, oh, no way. And you're like, oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Like, and slippery little mini pokes.
That's kind of what he said. He was like, a slippery little mini poke is one thing. But to continually do it is another thing. He's like, it's completely different feeling, completely different tightness, completely different texture, completely different everything. He said he wanted to go for it, and he did it, and you said no. Even though you said no, he still tried to do it, and then you yelled, and that's when he stopped. And I was just like, fuck, yeah. And I remember having this like huge breakdown, and I talked to the guy who had done this to me, asked him about it, and he said to me that it was my fault.
How is this your fault?
This was interesting. He said that because I was heavy, he couldn't tell the difference. And I said, okay, so anybody else who I've ever slept with before you never had this problem, only you do. And then he tried to say like, oh, you didn't want to do certain positions because of your weight. And I was like, no, that's not the truth. I said, when did I ever tell you that? And he was like, you just wouldn't do certain positions. I said, usually I wanted to do it doggy because I was less intimate and I didn't want to look at your face, which shows a lot about me and my fucked up intimacy issues. But no, I didn't want to share intimacy with this guy. I just wanted to screw around with him a little bit. And so that was fucked up. That was so fucked up. The fact that he blamed me for it though, instead of being like, I fucked up, to me that showed it was purposeful.
Oh God. I mean, these are things that happen, and sometimes you look back and you're like, wasn't an accident? Was it my fault? Was I asking for it? Things like that, I think, happen a lot to people, and they're just like, what did I do wrong? Or was this person trying you? There's so many little gray areas that everybody can tiptoe around, but I think in your gut, in your heart, when you're just like, that felt wrong. That felt wrong.
You know when it feels wrong, but you also don't want to believe it would happen to you.
Sorry, that's fucking shitty. And one thing about that is the reason it scares a lot of people, and the reason a lot of people are just not down for it, is it's because of their preference, but also because it is painful when it's not done correctly. And there is a lot of things that go into it, and prepping for it, and making sure you are in agreement with your partner, and you can really hurt somebody. You can really hurt somebody.
You can, and that's with any sexual act.
Yeah.
So if I tell you I don't like giving blowjobs, which we know is not true about me, but if I say I don't like giving blowjobs because I have a high gag reflex and I throw up very easy, that doesn't mean shove your dick in my mouth. It's the same thing that I went through, basically. I just said I don't want to do it. I'm not comfortable with it, and it still got happened. Still got happened.
It still got happened. That is fucked up, and that should always be your choice. I mean, that's just a violation, and these are things that are just going to take you step back from trusting people and moving forward. And these are things to be aware of, and these are things you're going to carry with you as well.
Yeah. So I mean, even another way of saying no is saying, not today, not feeling it today. I think not today is something that happens a lot in long-term relationships.
Yeah.
If you told Chris not today, he wouldn't be like, all right, I'm doing it anyway.
Absolutely. No.
Exactly.
No, it's just like, not today, not in the mood for that. You're not in the mood for ice cream every day, You
don't want tea every day. I mean, I want tea every day, but still, like, it's just that thing. It's like, not today. Guess what? I might be on my period, and I say not today, and there's a reason why. Maybe I'm on day 1 of my period, and I'm crampy, and ladies.
Yeah, and that's a good point, though. Is just like, just because you've done something before and you said it was cool doesn't mean it's cool every time, and you don't have to be in any kind of situation, they make you feel pressure. But we did that last time, so let's do that again.
Yeah.
So just know that that's a boundary that you can set, and it's okay. If somebody doesn't respect that, then it's okay to say, fuck you, I have my own boundaries, and you're not respecting them.
Exactly. And you know what? You brought up one that I thought was amazing. Laughing it off and not confirming a yes is a no.
That's true.
When we were writing out all this stuff, she said that, and I went, "You're fucking right." And that's nothing I would have even thought of, because I've done that a lot, where I'm just like, because you're a little uncomfortable.
It makes you uncomfortable. You're like, oh God, like you're crazy, or you're silly, or just
you're so funny.
You know, you don't want to say no, because it's hard to a hard no is hard to say, especially to somebody you like, you're interested in. You don't want to turn them off or scare them away. You're just kind of like, but you're not there yet.
Exactly.
And that's just hard conversation to have. So laughing it off is not confirming. That's not confirming
it's not saying
cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not saying, if I would go, ha ha ha, that doesn't mean yes. That means no.
This should go without saying, but you're blacked out in any way, that is not consent. I've talked to multiple friends, and there's been a lot of situations where, you know, growing up and drinking and doing stupid things at parties with other people, maybe they were drinking too, and you don't know if like, oh, well, maybe they didn't know I was blacked out, or maybe they had drank too much. I mean, there's so many, all these gray areas are when things get really fucked up and really scary, and maybe a lot of people are making mistakes, but there are plenty of times where it's just complete taking advantage of somebody.
It is, and that's happened to me. I'll get into that story in a second, but I do kind of want to put another Jenga on that, is like, if I consent to it sober and I get super drunk, that's
not
no.
consent. That's the going back to the tea thing.
Yeah.
They're like, if somebody wanted tea and then you go make them tea and you come back and they're blacked out and they're passed out,
You're not going to give them tea.
they don't want tea anymore.
Yeah.
But people passed out don't want tea. People that can't walk straight and can't talk straight don't want tea.
No.
People that's eyes are rolled in the back of their head don't want tea. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, have we all had drunk sex with our partners?
Fuck yeah.
But with like a safe situation, that's not what we're talking about.
A mutual situation.
A mutual safe situation. What happened to me is I had an ex-boyfriend and we were broken up by this point. And once you're broken up, consent's taken away. There is no consent. You have to re-ask for consent once the relationship is over, as far as I'm fucking concerned. We were at a party together. I got blackout drunk. I've been blackout drunk twice in my life. This was the first time. And I don't remember what happened, but I know what happened, because when I came to, he was telling me to put my clothes on and we were in the backseat of his car. And for a long time, I told myself, well, we had sex before, so, oh well. Shit happens. I said yes to it once, so he must think that must have been meant I said yes to it every time, which isn't true. And I learned that later in life, that what happened to me was not consent. It was sexual assault. What was unfortunate is I was at a party with people who were supposed to be my friends, and they all saw this happen and laughed about it. So it makes you wonder. Now, I was a teenager at the time, you guys. So I was an adult, but still a teenager. You can figure out those ages. So it comes down to, it's like, I'm not friends with any of those people anymore either. I don't talk to any of them.
Well, it's scary when you're in a situation where you think that people should be looking out for each other, and think we all know when we need to look out for our friends if things are getting too much. And sometimes they're like, no, go away, I'm fine, I'm, you know, whatever. I've had situations where I was like, no, girl, you don't want to be going with this guy, you know, you don't want to be doing this. I don't give a shit how mad they're going to be at me or how much they're going to hate me for it, because I know the next day they're going to thank me for it.
Exactly.
Be that bitch and protect your friends as well.
Be that bitch. I don't care. My mom had to do that. My mom told me a story about this once, where she had to be that bitch with one of her friends. Now, mind you, her friend was dating one of my dad's brothers. They were all out one night, and my mom and my dad were dating, so they were all out, and she was trying to leave. She got super drunk and was trying to leave with some other guy, and my mom pulled her from the club, and she goes, she had press-on nails on, and we were fighting, and I was pulling her press-on nails off of her. She goes, and then people in the apartment building in front of where we were fighting started throwing eggs at us because it was 3 a.m. and they didn't know. But my mom saved her from making a terrible decision.
Yeah, and you know when somebody, you're like, no, you're not going with that guy. I've had many nights like that, and I've had scream out matches, and I swear that nothing lasted past the next day, because alcohol is a whole episode of things that can go wrong, and we all know it. But, you know, don't be that person that sees it go down and lets it happen, and don't be that person that takes advantage of somebody when it's happening.
And the sad part is I was in the backyard throwing up everywhere, and he was the one holding my hair. That is fucked up. I'm going to pretend to take care of you until you black out.
Oh, wow. So then it happened afterwards. Okay.
Yeah.
Once somebody's thrown up, party's over.
Party's over.
They don't want tea.
No.
They might want literal tea, but they don't want consent. We're talking about sex tea.
Yeah, I don't like, and why would you want to if somebody's thrown up all over themselves?
No, that just means they need to sleep. Okay, that's just number one. They need food and they need to sleep.
Yeah.
Either way it goes, but they don't need sex.
No, they don't need tea.
Cut them off. Cut them off. How about threatening relationship if you don't do something sexual that you've stated that you don't want to do? That's pretty much sexual bullying.
There's so many aspects to sexual bullying. But basically what we're saying is like you and your significant other are like, let's do 69.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was the first
thing
that came to my head. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And then you're like, actually, I'd rather just take turns. And then your partner's like, but this is going to be so hot for me. And if you don't do this for me, I'll break up with you.
Then bye.
Bye.
Boy, bye.
Boy, bye.
Yeah.
I don't need to 69 you.
Sometimes you get into situations and they're like, you promised that you do that. So?
I promised my mom that I wasn't smoking at 16. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't smoke at 16, but you know what I mean? It's just that type of thing.
There's also that kind of consent. Just because somebody said, maybe we'll do it soon or I'll do that. And it comes down to it. And they say, I'm not comfortable with this or just I don't want to right now. That's okay.
That's fine.
It's annoying. Yeah.
Sure.
But it's okay. It's annoying that they ask for tea and all of a sudden you come to give it to them and they don't want it. It's fucking annoying. But still, they said no.
They said
it came down to it. They said no.
Bad
you guys got to watch this tea video. It's so great.
We're gonna link
this whole thing.
We're gonna link to it in the notes. Another form of sexual bullying is to say, well, I'm gonna tell them that you did it anyway, so you might as well give in.
Yeah, everybody thinks you're gonna do it, or everybody already says you do things like that. So why not?
You've sent me nudes, so I'm gonna. This is a big one. You've sent me naked pictures of yourself. I'll show it to your family if you don't do this for me.
And showing people nudes is not consent.
No, that is actually a really big thing. God, I don't remember how long ago it was, but when all those celebrities' nudes got leaked online.
Yeah, they're getting people's iClouds and.
Yeah, they were hacking into iClouds and sending people's nudes, and then they were slut shaming these girls. It was like Ariana Grande and Demi. I feel like it was like that era of Disney, right?
I think it was Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
Blake Lively. Beautiful young women that, of course, they're taking hot pictures of themselves and probably sending them to their boyfriends. And
whatever.
Who cares?
We all do that.
Yeah.
But people were slut shaming them online. Like, well, if they didn't want those pictures out to the world, then they shouldn't have taken them. So, like, if I send a nude photo to the guy I'm talking to, he should not be showing his friends.
That whole thing with like sending pictures and stuff is like something that deep down these homies are showing their friends. They're doing things like that. So protect yourself and keep your face and your tattoos out of it if you can. Just assume that if you send something, most people are going to do sneaky things to get away with it if they can. So,
but at the same time, respect people.
Yeah, respect people.
I'm not showing you pictures of the dude I'm seeing, dick.
No,
and I sure have a nice little gallery of it.
No, yeah, and I wouldn't want to either. But that's just.
And you're not showing me your husband's dick.
No, not showing anybody that. But guys have laughed before, and they're like, yeah, of course, if a girl sends me boobs, I'm gonna show everybody because it's fun and that's stuff like that. But you know what? That's not consent.
Nope.
She sent that to you. Keep it to yourself. And same thing with you, ladies. If you get something, keep it to yourself.
And
it's a whole other episode.
I have one more point before we get into some feedback we've had from some of our male listeners.
Oh.
But I want to talk about condom consent.
Oof.
If you tell a guy wear a condom and he doesn't, that is not consent. If you tell a guy wear a condom and he takes it off mid-session, that is not consent.
And if you tell a girl thought you could have felt it, that's bullshit.
That happened to me.
That's trusting somebody that you thought. I've heard that before from other people as well.
It's called stealthing.
Ooh.
Where you take the condom off mid-sex. Like, there's a name for it. It's called stealthing.
Oh.
And this is something that happens a lot. Oh, you should have been able to feel it if I wasn't wearing a condom. Like, no, if I tell you to wear a condom, wear a fucking condom. I had a situation where I was hooking up with a guy. It was the first time we had sex. First and only time we had sex. And I told him to wear a condom, and I watched him put it on, and he used it, but he took it off mid. I didn't feel him take it off midway, but they do that thing where they like pull out and push back in, whatever. And when he pulled out, he took the condom off, and I didn't feel the difference. I'd kind of been drinking. It was, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not up to me to feel the difference. Didn't feel the difference. He came inside me. And that's when I realized what had happened. Do you think he paid for the morning after pill? Do you think he gave me any money for that either? No.
Wow.
No, but I did freak out on him. I was like, what the fuck? And he was like, well, you should have felt the difference. Oh. No, you shouldn't have taken off the fucking condom.
Wow.
You shouldn't have came inside me without permission.
Wow. Especially midway, it's like the heat of the passion. Like, I'm not even expecting you to do something like that. It's not really something you can feel. Maybe it feels different for the guy.
Yeah.
I think it is more something. I think that's the thing with condoms. I mean, I'm speaking from a woman. I don't know, but I think for guys, it's not as fun for them as it is for us.
But still, like, if somebody's telling you to wear a condom, fucking, do you know how rampant STDs, STIs are?
Oh my God, so easy.
Wear a goddamn condom.
Yeah,
you know,
get there with somebody so you can feel comfortable with them, and then you can have sex without one. Okay.
Yes. Yes. So we've had some interesting feedback from our male listeners.
This was another thing where we got feedback and we were like, what do we do with this? Like, we were been trying to find a place to put it. We have two for you right here. Do you want to read the first one?
Hey, what's up? It's Bree.
And MJ. We're sitting here in front of a box of goodies.
We want to give a big thank you to our sponsor, Like a Kitten.
You know how much we love them because they inspire masturbation by sending you seasonal subscription boxes full of all kinds of sensual products and a huge motorized toy.
And we just got our Good Vibes summer box.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it came with a bag that says Good Vibes on it, filled with glitter lotion, lubes, a gummy bear vibe.
Glitter sunscreen, too. Like all these little wipes. Like, I feel like you could take this whole thing to any beach party or any pool party and you'll be ready for
anything. Hook up with somebody
or hot sex or just ready to mingle.
Yes.
Oh, tell them about this Love and Luster Bronzing Shimmer.
Okay, so we got the Love and Luster Bronzing Shimmer. It smells a little bit like cinnamon and it goes on so smooth. It'll be good for the whole body or just for a little contour on your face.
Highlight. Yeah, I was putting some on the cleavage and on like the collarbones. And we got these dope ass Like a Kitten sunglasses and they got that kitten vibe, that sexy cat eye.
The sexy cat eye.
I love it so much.
And we got a Pheromone infused shave cream.
Now, I hate shave cream that just smells like Barbasol or whatever. Like, this one smells like coconuts and vanilla and sweet peas. It's just so delicious.
And of course, we cannot forget about the Sweet Cream Classic Slim Vibe.
Yeah, this is a really nice vibrator, guys, and it's splash proof, so yes, take it in the shower.
And it's whisper quiet. And it's cute and has little ice creams all over it.
Well, the cool thing about Like a Kitten is they have these really cool seasonal subscription boxes. They also have a bunch of individual products.
They've even launched this month their bridal box.
I love it. But they have the breakup box. They have the birthday boxes, which are all like horoscope themed.
And they have the quarantine boxes.
Of course. I think we're moving out of the quarantine boxes and we're ready for their signature box, which has got everything. It's like their big package. But the website has it all.
So go to likeakitten.com and use code KEEPERS20 at checkout for 20% off.
If you're in a relationship, the loophole to getting a little different sensation is
having a vibrator. Thank you so much to our sponsors, Like a Kitten. Go to likeakitten.com and use code KEEPERS20 at checkout for 20% off your first purchase.
I know, and they have so many great products on there, so check it out. And guess what? They're going to be getting in on our Keeping It Casual swag giveaway.
Woo!
It's the last Wednesday of every month, and all you have to do to enter is rate and review on Apple Podcasts.
Give us that 5-star rating, and in the review, I don't care what you say, you could say, they're making me do this. It's just for the giveaway.
Last Wednesday of every month, you can get a very cool piece of Keeping It Casual swag and a little tasty treat from Like a Kitten.
So go to likeakitten.com, right meow.
Right meow.
And I just want to say, ladies, we'll sit here and roll our eyes and be like, oh, men are the worst. But we kind of fucking suck sometimes, too.
Yeah, there is a little bit of a double standard where we're like, oh, well, we're girls, so it doesn't matter as much. And guys want all the sex, so they love everything.
But here's story one, because guess what? They don't.
Yep.
So this male listener, they're both going to stay anonymous just because of the narrative of the stories. So a male listener wrote in, he said, I had a friend who was a female. She had said she wanted more and I only wanted friendship. She asked me to come over one night. She wanted to cook a friendly dinner and watch a movie. When I arrived, she was in lingerie only and no food was being made. She had porn on the TV. Assuming every guy wants sex is wrong, it made me completely uncomfortable and ended our friendship. After that, she turned me into the bad guy. When I was clear in my intentions, she ended up telling everybody I was gay and I'm not. I just wasn't attracted to her.
Ooh.
What a cunt. You don't tell people they're like, oh, he's gay because he didn't want to fuck me. Guess what? He just didn't want to fuck you.
No, he's just not that into you. You know, maybe you think, you know, you wear him down like, oh, I'm just going to throw on some lingerie. I mean, I guess.
But that's the same thing as a guy saying, hey, you want to have sex? No. Hey, you want to have sex? No. Hey, you want to have sex? Like, you just throwing on some lingerie, that is the exact same thing.
Or going over to some dude's house and he's like, hey, you want to come over? I'm just making dinner. I know you don't want to be in a relationship, but it's cool. You should go over there, and he's got his dick hard and and porn on, and like, you're just like, oh my God. I would be so like, I would feel assaulted. I would feel like, oh,
exactly.
What is this?
Put it here's
but
the
flipping it, it seems
thing,
like,
ladies.
dude, you're so lucky. You went over and she's in lingerie and wearing porn. Like, come on.
Here's the thing, ladies. If you're about to do something, when a guy tells you he doesn't want to do this with you, reverse the roles. And if a man's doing it to you and it's creepy, it's creepy.
Yeah, that was,
It's creepy, predatory behavior, either way.
Just because it's a female doing that to a guy. That was an interesting point. I thought that was a very interesting story. And we were like,
yeah.
We got that a couple months ago. So
yeah.
I hope he's listening. We got your back.
We got your back.
We hear you, dude.
And we know you're not gay.
Yeah. Okay, here's the next one. I worked with a girl who would flirt with me all the time. I was a superior, but not hers. There were rumors around the office that I was flirting with her, and I knew to keep my distance. One drunken night, she texted me photos of her nude and explicit sexual content about what she would do to me if I helped her. She was trying to get a promotion. So when I didn't really go for it, she threatened to go to HR and say I was sexually harassing her. I wasn't entertaining what she wanted. She was an attractive girl, and you could tell she was used to getting what she wanted, but I was engaged, and her manipulative behavior made her so unattractive to me.
Oh, wow.
Just threatening HR because somebody doesn't appreciate your
nude photos and is not going to give you a promotion for
gross. And he's engaged. Like, get a life, bitch.
God,
I'm not happy with this girl.
I'm not either. There are so many women who do that though, and I know, girls, for a long time we've been able to use sex to get our way in life, and you know what, some people may go for it, but if a guy is constantly like, nah, I'm good, I'm not flirting with you, like does not engage with you, don't send them pictures of your tits.
Yeah. And also, you know, you don't threaten somebody's job because they don't give you what you want. Like, that's a dirty lowball move right there. That's just quid pro quo right there. Give me this and I'll give you that. And probably thinking she could get something from him by, you know, sending the boob pic. No. No. And I'm glad, and you know what, it's kind of refreshing to see a guy that can see through that.
I am too.
Because sometimes we're just like, whatever, every guy, poor guys, they get this stereotype of like,
all guys,
I'm hot. If I was to show any guy my tits or my ass or show him some attention, he's going to try to go for it. And it's not true. No. And you are doing better, men. You're doing better.
A little better. A little better. We all need to do better still.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had times where I've been in bed with like partners, and I've tried to, and you know, it's been ongoing consent between the two of us, where I've reached over to like fool around. They say no. I'm not like, you're not going to give me sex. And it does.
You want their attention.
Does hurt your feelings not getting sex.
Absolutely. And I remember liking somebody a long time ago, and every time we'd hang out, I'd get kind of flirty with him, and he'd really just kind of change the subject or walk away. And like, it was always, but I never really got naked or tried to grab his cock or anything. I knew my boundaries. It kind of hurt my feelings, but I knew when to back off.
Yeah.
And I think not knowing when to back off and thinking like, I'm just going to freaking throw myself at somebody and it's going to work because I'm a hot babe. It doesn't work.
No. Imagine it with a hard dick and it's creepy.
Oh, yeah. Imagine if a dude was doing, I think you have to put yourself in that situation if you're getting a little cuckoo over somebody and you just are getting a little obsessed. Flip the script and be like, ugh. And ladies, if you have a friend getting a little cuckoo, flip the script on them and see how they'd feel about that. Because sometimes we got to do that because it's such a double standard with men and women.
So, on that note, men and women, here are some sexy ways to ask for consent. So, first off, don't assume any and all acts are on the table for you and your partner at all. Even if they have done it for you or you have done it before.
That's a good point. Just because you've done something before doesn't mean like, okay, well, now it's just part of the repertoire. Always ask. So here's some examples of sexy ways to ask for consent. Don't assume your partner wants to receive oral after it's given.
That's the thing, especially with women. Not all women like oral sex.
I've had some friends that say that, and I'm like, what? But
Yeah,
it's
me too.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah. So instead of assuming, you can say, that was amazing for me. Let me know how I can make you feel good. And if they're like, get down there and get working, that's fine. But if they're like, let's just have penetrative sex.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a sexual partner. He didn't really like blowjobs. He liked handies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not good with the hand job, but
you have to have a lot of. You need to have like lube on hand. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Anyway, but you make it work.
Mm-hmm. This is a great way to ask for men or women.
Yeah.
So, how about you want to please your partner and yourself, but not get into some weird, uncomfortable conversation mid fooling around?
Oh God, yeah. Say something like, "I'd love to insert sex act you want. I'd love for you to eat my ass."
All right, yeah. And
would you do that for me?
Oh yeah. Would you want to do that for me?
Would you want to do that for me? And and there are ways to do it to make yourself sound sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Just how you like that.
Be
Is
like,
that
I'm
good
gonna,
for you?
yeah. You know what? How about I roll on my stomach and you can start kissing me down my back? And you know what I'd like for you to do?
I want you to eat my ass. Yeah, it's just it sounds silly, but that is a sexy way to ask for something.
Mm-hmm.
When you're like, if you're on top riding a dick, you like that? That's a way to ask for consent.
Oh yeah.
And if they're like, no, let's do it this way, then they don't like that.
Yeah, and that goes for a guy. What if a guy wants to do something like that? I think sometimes when somebody wants to do something kinky, especially guys, they feel a little more threatened to bring that up to a girl than a guy would.
Yeah.
So, for example, you can just say, here's something I was thinking about and I would love to do that for you if you're comfortable with it. You know, like that's really a sexy way to say that to a girl. And they could say like, not right now, or maybe next time, or
fuck
I'm
yeah.
not comfortable to it. Yeah, or fuck
yeah.
But just be sweet and be open and be gentle with it, and don't just assume because your girl's talking dirty and being a little wild animal in bed that she's gonna want some things. Because
and don't be weird about it. Don't be like, can I put it in your butthole, please?
Ma'am.
No.
All right.
Another thing, don't assume your partner wants round 2 after round 1.
Oh God, yeah. So
sometimes round 1 was so good and you're spent and you're just like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, or you're just like, sometimes it was so wild and you're like, I'm a little sore.
Dude, there was some shaking. I don't know.
I think I need a little.
But like, what's a good way to ask for round 2?
So you could say something like, well, like that was amazing for me. Would you like to go again? And this is like such a great place to actually share what you loved in little detail, and also about what you'd like to try next time.
Oh, I really liked when you did the helicopter move.
Oh yeah,
something like that. Yeah,
or a little teasing. Certain things.
When you put it in and took it out and told me I had to beg for it, I liked it.
Yeah, so that's I think like especially after before assuming round 2, like that is such a great moment where you've just had some real passion, you're feeling really open and just discussing like,
and
I loved when you
connected and intimate with them at that moment,
and just kind of being like, I really love that. What I would like to try is this, or what I'd like for you to do to me is this. So there's sexy ways to ask for consent, but also to ask for what you want.
Yes.
So I think that is a great time to really bring things up.
I agree. And you know what? Okay, so say I wanted to try something. This is not me. If I want to try something, I'm going to ask for it straight up. But say I'm a shy little girl and I want to try something taboo.
Oh.
How do I ask?
Okay. I think if you're really shy, there's fun ways to introduce taboo into it versus watching porn, which is a little more bolder. Maybe a little erotica.
Ooh.
Yeah. Or even if you're uncomfortable reading erotica, what about a sexy erotic podcast? You listen to something together and like, wow, that sounds really hot together. They have some podcasts out there that have erotica in them, and you could just listen together. So I think that would be a good way for somebody that's a little more shyer.
So like listen to erotica and be like, this really turns me on. You want to try that?
Yeah, and be like, oh, or sharing a sexy fantasy, talking about something.
Oof.
Bringing it up. Oh, I've done that. I love doing that.
I do too. I like, if I have a sex dream like about the person I'm seeing, which might have happened recently, guys. I like to be like, I had a dream about you last night.
Ooh, that's even a good, hey, if you're just uncomfortable talking about it, say you had a dream about it, right?
That's true.
Ooh,
I usually do it when I have the sex dream, but
Yeah.
damn, I'm going to start having a lot more sex dreams.
I know, right? It's like, that's actually a good point to bring up. Or you were watching a movie You were
Like,
watching a movie.
I was watching 50 Shades of Grey last night, and I want you to tie me up.
Oh, yeah. And just like tease me with my panties on. Oh.
Yes. Like, I mean, yeah, there's
Ooh.
always ways. And if they say no, guess what? Don't give them tea.
Mm-hmm.
Moral of the story, I think, is there are so many ways to say no. And unless it's an enthusiastic yes, fuck yes, hell yeah,
Mm-hmm.
let's do it,
I'm down.
I'm down, it's a no.
And don't push it.
Do not
Literally.
push it. Yeah. No, don't push it. Seriously, don't fucking push it. It doesn't matter if you've been together 5 minutes or 55 years.
Mm-hmm. Some people need time to think about what you've talked about, and maybe they need time to think about your needs, and it might take them
Especially if
time to
it's
come around to
A
it.
really taboo thing, like, I don't want to kink shame anybody, so
Right.
just something that's really taboo to
Yeah.
them. Like, they're like, oh, do I want that?
Yeah. Or maybe it's not taboo at all. It's something very normal that a lot of people do,
Yeah.
you know, and they're just like, it's not something I'm comfortable with, or I'm not comfortable doing. Then maybe you need to evaluate what your sexual needs are and what your deal breakers are, and just be honest with that with yourself. And that's okay to be like, this is something I need sexually, and that's okay to be honest with that and just say that I don't think this is going to work.
Exactly.
And that's a hard place to be in, but really it's going to lead to forcing somebody or cheating or resentment, or it's
Yeah.
going to lead to a lot of things. So just be honest with yourself and know your values, and know your boundaries, and if everybody sticks to that,
We won't have to worry about consent or tea at all.
that's right.
And you know what? This was a very tough topic.
Yeah.
This is something like I said at the beginning of the episode, I didn't want to do it.
Thank you for sharing some things, because I know that was hard to talk
It
about.
was. I didn't want to do it because I was like, I'm gonna cry, and that's why I was like, if I get drunk before we record, I'm gonna really cry.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I was at a point in my life now where I'm comfortable talking about these things, because a lot of what I went through, I didn't realize was bad until way after, and then I spiraled. I don't want people to have to go through these situations anymore. I want you to know immediately that was wrong.
Yeah. And it's okay to say no. And it's okay to say not now. And it's okay to stop mid happening. It's okay to take these backsies.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going to be annoying because this is absolutely something I am so uncomfortable with and I just can't handle it. And I'm sorry.
If you think you've been a victim, if you need to talk it through, go to RAINN, RAINN.org, and there is the National Sexual Assault telephone hotline you can also call, which is 800-656-HOPE. So that's 800-656-4673. And you'll be connected with a trained staff member from a sexual assault service provider in your area. And usually with that, like, they'll give you meetings for sexual assault survivors that you can go to, like group meetings. And I've gone to these group meetings, and you know, it's a scary thing to walk through those doors the first time, but you find that you're around people that have similar stories. I'll link to the show notes a lot of other things, and honestly, if you want to write into us, you're more than welcome to.
We'd love to. And we don't just take your stories and just blast everything on the
No.
podcast. And you can make sure to say that I feel like I wanted to share this with somebody, and we'll keep it to ourselves. And we absolutely will correspond with you.
We're no experts, but
no, we just wanted to share.
we can listen.
Yeah, and we just really appreciate you taking the time to listen with us every week, and we're here for you. And if there's some topics you want us to bring up and talk about, we're open.
Yes.
And we'd love to get into that with you. But again, we care about you all, and we thank you for just, going on this ride with us and taking your time out every week.
And until next time,
Bye. Oh, good times. We hope you related.
if so, let us feature you. Email us at feedback@keepingitcasualpodcast.com, or show you're a keeper on Facebook. Like the Keeping It Casual page and join the group.
Yes, bonus. If you rate and review on Apple Podcasts, you get into our monthly Keeping It Casual swag giveaway. It's the last Wednesday of every month.
More hookups when you share us on your Instagram stories at Keeping It Casual Podcast.
That's right. Find me anywhere socially at MJ Radio Diva.
And I'm everywhere at Breemixed, BREEMIXED.
Keep it casual.
Bye.
Bye.